The girl. Is she alive?
What girl? I don't know no girl.
With some rumours flying about that Sony are trying to find a way to enable backwards compatibility for PS3 games on the PS5, I thought I would go through some of the best that the PS3 has to offer. Obviously there were some huge hitting titles released during this console's time, so many so that trying to condense them down to just 5 was near impossible. I do plan on doing another video with another 5 because I just can't leave it at these. The guilt would definitely get to me. So let's jump right in. At 5 is God of War 3, with some of the most ferocious and over-the-top action ever witnessed in a game. The third installment really went into overdrive to make you feel like a proper God of War. Don't get me wrong, this game is an epic tale following Kratos as he vows revenge on Zeus and every single god who gets in his way. It has a lot of depth with each character, but for me, what it's more about is the rawness and brutality of Rage in all its glory. It's a tough game too though. Some of the bosses were stupid difficult. For example, I struggled with the Hades Cerberus dog. That 3-headed beast bested me so many times before I was able to best it just once. I then proceeded to act like I hadn't just died a million times and that it was nothing to be able to kill it.
Right, yeah, of course.
Anyway, the reason I put this game on the list is because of how different it really was. It pushed beyond the envelope with its vicious weapons, fights, and cutscenes, all whilst maintaining an exceptional storyline. It's not a casual game that anyone can just pick up. It's a true hardcore, in-your-face, no-holds-bar monster of a game which demands to be seen and earns its spot on this list. Next up at 4 is Red Dead Redemption. What can you say about a game that arguably defined a generation with its sprawling open world, tantalizing storytelling, and a unique take on Western-style shoot-'em-ups? I'll start with the storyline. The game is centered around former outlaw John Marston, who is forced by government agents to hunt down his former gang members to save his family. This is scored by themes of redemption, loyalty, and the harsh realities of the American frontier. John Marston is a deeply nuanced character with plenty of struggles and moral dilemmas. You really do dive into these during the story as well. I'll quickly point out that the ending wasn't real. Like, at the time, I genuinely thought I could save John, but I couldn't have been more wrong about that. The open world design was spot on to what you'd imagine it to be like back in those times. It introduced a dynamic weather system along with the day and night cycle. Not much to think about in modern times, but 14 years ago that was a highly impressive achievement. And to go along with this, the game's graphics were some of the best seen on this generation of console. This game was something different to the Call of Duties or the Halos, which were amazing in their own right, but this just had a uniqueness about it. Maybe it was the setting, maybe it was the characters, maybe it was something in the air, I don't know. Probably a mixture of all those things, but I couldn't leave this one out. Red Dead Redemption has well and truly earned a spot on this list. In at 3 is Mass Effect 2. This game had insane amounts of depth and is truly a space exploration game in my eyes. Hint, hint, Starfield. Was that too harsh? Anyway, it was a massive leap from Mass Effect 1 with several gameplay element changes from the first game, which included limited ammunition and regenerable health. If Mass Effect 1 had a great story, then Mass Effect 2 had an amazing one. But not only was the story amazing, the depth of the characters in this game is what really set it apart for me. The amount of dialogue wasn't something I'd come across before. It was such a surprise to see you could have so many different types of responses as well, with the left side being more in depth and the right side moving the conversation on. And certain dialogue options would also have an impact on how the NPCs would react to Shepard too. The squad style combat was awesome too. I loved the third person over the shoulder perspective, and the abilities that you had and you could use in combat were also great. I really think this game is excellent, and it was such a hit on this generation of console. It felt like really peak PS3, and as such definitely deserves a place on this list. Taking number 2 is The Last of Us. Before going into the game, I implore you to go and watch the making of it. It gives you an amazing insight into the development process and the effort that went into creating this. There is also one for part 2 which is just as good. Now, The Last of Us was an intense, emotional and brutal experience. I mean, the opening scenes, immediately feeling that connection with Sarah as you're witnessing the outbreak for the first time, only for Naughty Dog to absolutely crush us with that oh so famous scene.
You're gonna be okay, baby. Stay with me. All right, I'm gonna pick you up. I know, baby. I know it hurts. Come on, baby. Please. I know, baby. I know. Sarah. Baby. Don't do this to me, baby. Don't do this to me, baby. No. No. No, please.
and it just continued the whole way through, turning and twisting in every chapter. The growth of Joel and Ellie's relationship was so interesting to watch. A key moment for me was when I realised how much it had actually changed when Ellie is sat in the bedroom and Joel tells her that he won't be taking her any further and Tommy will be doing the rest of the journey. Then after all we'd been put through, the ending, I won't spoil it because I do think everyone should experience this firsthand. I have no idea how Neil Druckmann thought up this storyline, but I'm so glad that he did. If there was ever a game I wish I could experience again for the first time, without a shadow of a doubt, it would be this. I just had to include it. With the top spot is GTA 4. GTA 4 follows Nico Bellic, who has come to Liberty City with the hopes and dreams of creating a better life full of money, women, and cars. GTA 4 was the first in the series that I'd really played. I remember loading it up and just being blown away. Specifically shouting out the bank robbery mission here, that was so good. I loved all the characters, going from truly kind of gritty and salt of the earth all the way to the higher class. But even when you take a break from the story, the free roam was just as good. The random encounters you'd have were great. Going to the internet cafe I always thought was really cool for some reason. I guess I'd never encountered a game that would allow you to use the internet. Every time, without fail though, I'd always get into the airport, find a helicopter to steal and just fly around with one of the radios on. The multiplayer hit so hard as well. Free roam with your mates was the epitome of fun for me. Getting into a party and just messing around. I could talk about this game for so long, maybe that's just coming from a nostalgic perspective. Either way, this game was loved by so many, it continued to be popular for such a long period of time, and even after GTA 5 came out, I think it's a well-deserved top spot. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video.